Hey guys, welcome to our first MWRT news group video since um 5 months ago. I just want to say hi back to y'all. Sorry for it being so long. We kind of went on a hiatus, which we will go over, but we are back. We are going to go over um our some of our topics today. Our first topic is rapid races. So we've done 8 races since we have done a video. So we will get you all caught up on those races. We'll also go over some MWRT controversy and how we're going to make the league better. We'll also go over D1 and D2 schemes of the week from COTA. And we'll also go over our Richmond D1 and D2 picks at the end of the show, and you'll want to stick around for that. But as we go on, Dylan, I don't know what we're having now, bro. But I want Dylan to introduce himself to y'all. Dylan, say hi to him.
Yeah, your five-time poll D1 winner here.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, let's go to Chase for life. Say hi, Chase.
How we doing? How we doing, guys?
Also, yes, we also have new faces this time. Chase for life is a new one here. D2 points leader also. CD, say hi, a regular here in the news group.
Yes, you're 3-time P2 champion is here, guys.
Yeah, shut the
Hello.
fuck up. Okay, SGB is obviously an OG. Say hi, SGB.
I'm not gonna glaze myself, so hi.
And then also Tylen here.
The most jobless
Part of
person in
this
this call.
forever. Yeah, most jobless person in this call. But anyway,
In fact, all of
we
us are jobless.
Yeah, I'm like, job. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and go over it. So we're gonna go over our first topic, which is rapid races. I'm sorry if I sound tired as shit because I am. We've done this episode like 3 times already. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and go over our first race, which was Atlanta. Take it away, Chase.
Oh, this race happened many months ago, but actually, I can remember this race was a shit show. I don't think D2 or even D1 made it more than 5 laps, but D1 stage one was very forgettable. D2, I believe, had a photo finish for the stage between Diehard and Chase, and then we went to overtime. And Chase was able to win because the big one happened behind him as they took the white, and because Miles dumped GHT from getting his first ever win.
Thank you, Chase. Good job on that win, obviously. So I'll go ahead and go over D1, aka one of the top 2 worst races of the year so far. Obviously, y'all know me as one of the worst super speedway racers. Really good at skill-based tracks, but really shitty at super speedways. Of course, the only super speedway race I sweep is the shittiest one of all time. So I won stage 1 and stage 2. And then we had multiple shutdowns, but finally the stage 3 came to an end where I went under CD and passed him, and CD crashed out and cussed me out after the race, even though I didn't do anything to him. But ultimately, I got the win. This is good, CD. But we will go ahead and head on to Iowa for D2 once again. SGB, we'll head it to you this time.
All right, so Division 2 Iowa, pretty overall was a pretty calm race, I'd say. Not a lot of cautions, obviously, and it ended up actually being a pretty close end of the race. I think it came down to a common Mine Waller 13 thing where he just doesn't open pits and with a few laps to go, and it has to be a fuel strategy. But in the end, Wild, he was able to save enough gas and was able to finish ahead of A Sprout, who was really close to him in the end. So yeah, Wild gets the second win of the year at Iowa.
Yeah, Wild got him a really good run there in the cornfields. But now we'll head it to our race winner in D1. Dylan, go ahead and go over Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa was. I'm not. It was a pretty clean race. Probably one of the best of the year. Start of the race, it was the Cardi show. He got off the 6-second lead. No shade to Blue, but he's basically holding up the rest of the field for the whole first stage. And head to the second stage. A lot more battles, I'd say. There's a caution, I'm pretty sure, during that stage. But Cardi once again won the stage. And then we go to stage 3. Basically, same thing. Cardi ends up getting the lead late in the race, but we have pit stops. He loses the lead there. I end up taking it. And then in the back, when Cardi tries to pass Chase, Chase lags and ends up spinning on his front nose, which just allowed me to pull away and end up winning that race.
Sounds good, Dylan. Congratulations on that. That was your second win of the year so far. Now we will head to the twists and turns of Watkins Glen. Headed over to you, Chase.
Well, this was probably one of the most controversial races for both with how the winners were decided. A lot of the top 2 in points that day did DNF off of gas. Dom in stage 1, then I in stage 2. Die Hard was able to wreck his way to the win. Very controversial win in D2.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chase for Life. Now we'll head over to D1. Sorry, CD, you weren't here for this race. I'll go ahead and go over this one. You can go over Kansas because I think that's the next one. But here we go. D1, Watkins Glen. Obviously, it's a road course, so it was definitely one of a shit show. Wasn't the worst one though. I think it came out too early. I think I won the first stage. And
No,
then
I won that, by the way.
oh, you won. No, you didn't, bro. But
Yeah,
anyway,
you can check that. You can check the spreadsheet.
okay, well, you won the first stage anyway. It was a good race up front. I was on the Noodle Doodle account, but anyway, it came down to the end where it was the last lap. I was leading, entering the first corner. It was my first race on Xbox, and for some reason, I left the joystick forward and I missed the whole corner. So it let Chase for Life and Chudge Chase sneak by, as we'll show on the video. They go up to the S's, and then the bus stop. Chudge Chase commits. Absolute Osama bin Laden on Chase for Life and wrecks the shit out of him, and he takes the lead and keeps it on from there, and he's gonna win at Watkins Glen to get his first win of the year, and then whistles in the wind, literally nothing. We see here nothing for months upon months, for about 4 months, and then we finally hit December, and Wallace says we are back racing, boys, and we went to Kansas. And we'll go back to right here to D2s. SGB, how was Kansas?
Now, after a pretty long hiatus from MWRT, we came back at Kansas, a snow race actually, near around Christmas time. And this race did not disappoint. The drafting package and the racing package that was bring here at Kansas was probably one of the most interesting races I've ever seen. Pretty great racing. A lot of battles all around with a lot of new faces up front, especially people like SGB, GHT, even Miles up front. But in the end, it came to a pretty late race restart after a red flag, and it would be Miles getting his first win of the season that actually counts for points.
Sounds good, SGB. Thank you for that. As now we will go to D1 Kansas. CD, we'll hand it over to you.
Like basically, the race was like pretty horrible. Like I don't know, like really what to say. The race went horrible. Like the drafting was like really really bad. Huge draft and everything, but I think it was just like Vegas all over again. This time it was Cardi edging out Tylen for the victory, and yeah, Kevin was like a whole retard that race.
Okay, well, CD's race didn't go well, but the racing up front was good. It was a battle between me and Cardi ultimately tubbed me off the outside and got the win.
Sounds about.
Yeah, Dylan, shut the fuck. Anyway, he passes me and he gets his first win of the season, and then we take another week break off, and now we'll hand it over to Chase for the tricky triangle.
Bye.
SGB.
Actually, I'll take it from here at
SGB.
Pocono
My
since
fault,
actually,
my fault.
Chase did not race this race anyway. From Pocono, after the 1 week break gap from Kansas, we ended up going back to Pocono. Probably one of the most chaotic races of the season, if I'm being honest, in Division 2. A lot of crashes early in the race, and even fuel strategy was in play for a little bit, and with that, a lot of different people were up front that you normally do not see, and it came to a pretty close restart with on the white flag. 4 wide for the lead did not work out in the end, as multiple cars are wrecking on the white flag, and somehow the driver getting out of that is Chase's sub, Silly, or whoever his name is, and he goes on. Who?
Billy.
Okay. Anyway, and then he went on to be able to win the race at Pocono. That's basically how it went down.
Thank you for that, SGB. Is now we'll head over to D1 Pocono. I was not here for this race. What I heard was a bad race, but we'll head it over to Dylan.
What?
I would say it's not a bad race. I'll say it was solid. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the best.
Yeah.
But, race started with about a 4-car breakaway. I'm pretty sure Chase for Life was leading the pack, and then he ended up falling back a little bit. I don't know if there was a caution. But actually, yeah, there was a caution. And ended up restacking the field for stage 1. And on the white flag, Dylan was leading. Curdy behind. He shoved him all up the track, walls everybody, and then Cardi ended up stealing the stage 1 win. Then we go to stage 2. Good racing overall throughout, but at the middle of the stage, Dylan was able to get a gap, and then for the green flag pit stops, he got a 2-second lead and won stage 2. Then for stage 3, probably the worst stage in caution terms. A lot of wrecking. With about 10 laps to go, there was another caution, and then that started basically a domino effect with cautions, and then we got to overtime. 2 fastest cars for all day were me and Just Chase, but Cardi managed to get through the carnage and win at Pocono.
Thank you for that, Dylan. But also, we'll go head over to Miles the Monster. We took just a short 6-day break, and then finally we went straight to D2 at the Monster Mile, and we'll head this over to Chase. Not Chase, Chase for Life.
Yeah, Dover was probably the best race of the season between D1 and D2, personally. Stage 1, I believe there's only one caution for incidents. The entire race was aviation spinning early. Tough break for him that day, but it was mostly between 3 drivers all day, me, Miles, and Dom. Dom started to fall off towards that end of the pit cycle, so me and Miles battled it out for stage 2 and stage 3, and Miles unfortunately edged me out for the win.
Thank you to the Chase. Yeah, it was a great race between you two. We'll get that up on the screen. But now to head to one of the worst races once again in D1, the Monster Mile at Dover. I will go ahead and go over this one. This one was a bad one at all sorts of levels. It was the race itself in stage 1. We were coming to the end. Cardi was leading with about 8 or 9 laps to go, and then Walla decides to say, you know what, I'm going to delete the track, and he does. He deletes the track, and everyone falls to the racetrack. So we had a restart. I think who ended up getting that stage win? I forgot.
I'm pretty sure it was Curdy.
It was Cody, I'm pretty sure. I
Curdy
ended up
got,
sneaking away a point because of it.
but Curdy gets the stage win. Then things went a little quiet. Stage 2 was all right. Then stage 3, an infamous moment happens, or it might have been stage 2 or stage 3, but a certain guy starts with a V. I'm not gonna call him out. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna call him out. Vex, his battery dies, and his car turns around and goes straight backwards and kills about a bunch of cars. We'll get that on the screen for sure. But he was not lying. His batteries did go out, and he went backwards and killed the field. And then that was just a chain of reactions, and this roadblock shutting down, many people having much of lag. But at the end of the day, it was letting Chuz Chase sneak by and win at the Monster. Now we will head to the Lone Star State for D2. Over to you, SGB.
Now going back after Dover, we go to Texas Motor Speedway. Once again, another chaotic race on the schedule. This is like one of the races where just a bunch of cautions happen once again, and even some flips, as we are going to show on the screen multiple times in the race. A lot of different pit strategies, well, not really pit strategies, but a lot of late race cautions ended up deciding how the race would end, and it would be a pretty interesting one. The dominant cars of the day were Chase, A-Sprout, maybe even Jalen at some points, but the main kicker here is that the 3 of Hunter, who has not raced since Las Vegas, which was race number 3 on the schedule, he was able to come out on top at Texas for ERI and win in D2.
Thank you for that, SGB. Yeah, it was obviously very surprising to see Hunter win that one. Still that one away. But now we'll head over to D1 Texas. Over to you, Dylan.
Yeah, Texas, I'd say was, I don't know. Most people call it a bad race, but I didn't feel that way. Stage 1, Tylen basically broke away from the field. Not much to cover there. I'm pretty sure there was one caution at the start, but that was about it. Tylen ended up winning stage 1 by a long shot. Stage 2 is much more eventful. A lot of battles for the lead. It's coming down to the end of stage 2. Dylan ended up getting the lead, and a caution came out, which they ended up pacing to the stage finish, and Dylan ended up winning stage 2. Then we go to stage 3. I'm not sure much that happened, but all I know is that Tylen broke away at the start, and then a caution comes out. So they go down pit road, and Tylen just screws Dylan and stall completely.
Yeah, completely.
He missed pit stall, makes me miss on pit stall. So they go to the back, and then Blue out of nowhere ends up getting ahead out front on a overtime restart and won Texas.
Yes, Blue came out of nowhere and won that one. If I didn't screw me and Dylan over, great word right there, Chase. But anyway, we'll go ahead and head over to the final race, and 100%, I think the worst race of the year, worse than Atlanta. We'll head over to COTA now. Well, first we'll start with D2. D2 was not as bad. Right, over to D2 for you, Chase. How was
Oh,
COTA at D2?
Coda. Very interesting race. Cars are very light, so very little bumps can affect the cars. A lot of flips in D2 and D1, but that's not the point. D2, stage 1, dominated by the D1 driver of Baloo, showed very strong pace, but we know in the history of bushwhackers at D1 races, they never go well. Look at Dylan at Phoenix, look at Tylen at Sonoma, to name a few. But anyway, Baloo was able to win stage 1. Stage 2, Baloo fell back and gave up the lead to the likes of Bad Content, myself, and Jalen. I was able to sneak away with the win. What else happened? I was able to sneak away from the stage win after Bad Content sold. Stage 3, very interesting. A lot of cautions, but we did have some fuel strategy. Jalen and Baloo pitted, I believe with 3 laps to go. GHT a 5-second lead with 2 laps to go, but he was choked it, and I was able to win my 4th race of the season. And honestly, could have been a better race, but can't complain.
Congratulations, Chase. Obviously, building up that points lead. We'll go over points in a little bit.
Thank you.
But Steve, we will give you the reins, and I don't want you to hold back at all. The worst race of this season. We'll let you go over it. CD, how was
Honestly, not only the officiating was bad. I mean, it looked like Waller just took a shit on the whole server. That's how bad the officiating was. I mean, we had for some reason we had fucking black bumps on the S's that damn near every single lap people just fucking murdered because Waller doesn't know how to make setups and should honestly just retire as a league owner. Just let Curdy take over. The race was horrible. I think it was stage 1. The race was so bad. I don't remember who won the stages.
Tylen
The race was just fucking horrible. Tylen swept the stages, and then came on to the last lap. Tylen turned into fucking Cody Ware. Ended up flipping because Walt does not know how to make setups, so he flipped, and it gave Zane the win because he snuck away with it.
Thank you for that, CD. Obviously, CD is one of our very fiery reporters. That was kind of over the top. But anyway, I told him not to hold back. But yes, Zane ended up getting the win because I had one of the biggest sales of all time. Anyway, congratulations, Zane. Apparently, he is retiring. That's what breaking news here as well. Breaking
My
news, Zane.
segment.
What?
Shut up, bro. Zane is retiring. By the way, breaking news: Zane is retiring from MWRT just by the result of that race. But now we are going to go over D1 and D2 points. SUB, take it away.
All right, so in division number 2, looking at the point standings after race number 13 out of 30, we are closing in on that mid-race gap, closer to the fight at Homestead near the end of the season. So far, the standings run down like this. Chase is your points leader after 13 races, over 73 over GHT, who moves up a spot against Dom DMS. Then after that, it will be Miles in the number 18, has had a really great run ever since the break, and after that it will be Aviation, first car out of the final 4, then Die Hard P6, SGB moves up into P7 after COTA, then it will be A Sprout in P8, Wild P9, Leveland P10, Zach P11, Briar and Bad Content in P12 and P13, then it will be Jalen P14, Sebastian P15, Hunter P16, Monkey, Jaden, who else after that? And the Rathead, the 27 of Driz, Kicks, and that rounds out the entire point standings in Division 2.
Thank you for that. Yes, Chase obviously has like a race and a half points gap over everyone else. Chase has got that D2 points lead on locks for now, on the time being. His last average finishes of the last 6 races is like 1.2, so amazing by Chase for life. But now we will go over D1 points. Back to you, SGB.
All right, now going down into Division number 1. Once again, it will be a tighter points battle for Division 1. Currently holding the points lead, only 11 over P2. It will be Tylen, and then it will be Cardi and Chase rounding out the top 3. Then Dylan holds on to that final spot in the top 4. Right after that will be Kevin, and then after that will be Baloo for Team Horizon, Crackery, JCM. Then after that, Aiden P8, Elrod P9, Vince P10, Grimmy, first car outside the top 10, P11, Curdy P12, CD P13, and then after that, it will be Vex, Zane, Vector, Jays, EJ, Dim, and Bryce to round out the rest of the field. Oh
Anyway.
my god. What
Anyway.
is this?
Okay, cut that shit.
What is it?
Bro, I
feel
look
like
away
this,
from my
bro.
monitor for 1 second, and
Yo.
what are these top 3 results?
After our technical difficulties after points, I do not ask what happened. But anyway, we are going to head on to our next segment, and it is talking about D1 racing and obviously MWRT racing as a whole. People are starting to take this league way, like, the respect of it is going way down. Based on the way how the drivers are racing, the level of talent in D1, and also just the level of people having no respect after the break. Obviously, I'm going to go over my point last. Do y'all have any way we could fix MWRT from fixing? I mean, from having this reputation of people just not even taking it seriously anymore. Dylan, starting with you.
Yeah, I think we just kicked Tylen. I'm not gonna lie. He's mainly the cause of this. Obviously,
Yeah, I'm
one of the
kicking
worst drivers in the field.
bro.
Doesn't even deserve. Honestly, you can make the argument he didn't deserve a license whatsoever. You know, does not show pace at all.
Oh my god.
And I'm joking. I'm joking.
Dead ass go over it.
Okay, I'm choking your chicken with that. But anyways, I think we got so a way to help it. Probably to be a little stricter on like the penalties. Most people just able to do like just wreck people with absolutely no consequences other than getting a warning, which is probably not the best thing to do. But yeah, that's one way we could probably fix it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Dylan. I just think that like people are like, okay, I have 4 chances to just keep going out there and wrecking the shit out of people before I actually have to face a consequence. So they really don't really care about that point. I think that we should have maybe just a little bit less warning so people will understand, like, hey, you cannot do this. But now I'll head it over to CD. CD, do you see anything that we could do to fix?
All right. So number one, I know Wallace said he's like been under a lot of stress recently because those setups and the times they're racing and like number one, I just want to go over the officiating and the judge. I feel like having a D2 drivers officiate D1 is possibly the worst thing ever. Like, for example, I mean, I'm not trying to hate by any means of this, but I mean, when you have like BCH in A Sprout, when they're going off another league's rules that's not MWRT, that's kind of like very stupid in my opinion. And like, we need actual like judge tryouts where where they actually judges like for example Chronic and Eddie, they're both really fair judges. I like what they do, and like I hope to see like more people like that in the future. And then after that, it also could give like Walla like more time to make actual good setups and like not put their race like in such a hurry and not start the race like 4 hours late. And then like not only that, you also have like people like I saw that Baloo, like they're canceling their stuff for MWRT because MWRT is life and stuff. But like yeah, you have that. But not really much to go over it, but like more officials could like really help. And honestly, like more penalties off what Dylan says. I feel like never been enough penalties, and like it kind of like suck because their last penalty wasn't even a racing thing. It was monkey because like he was like screaming the N word or something like that, and BC. That was the last penalty, and I just feel like that it like definitely more penalties should apply for people who's been like dirty racing.
No, what's it called? Monkey's penalty was because he was wrecking Leland on purpose. And then what's
Okay,
it
well,
called?
anyway,
Recently,
I
no.
appreciate.
Recently, Vex got a penalty for hooking Cragtree.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, CD. I completely agree with your statements. I think that we shouldn't have any person that's just not. You know what? I'll go over mine in a little bit, but thank you, CD. Chase, I will let you go ahead and go over your ways to fix this narrative around MWRT.
All right. I feel like Walla should focus on the racing and making the setups and being an official. Because as of right now, he's not the greatest at doing both, and it's stressing him out. And it's supposed to be a fun thing. Low key, again, I think we need the pens. We haven't had any pens in a while. So, it's what Monkey at Phoenix. So, I feel like we do need a pen, or like suspension even. Like people need to be suspended.
Yeah, I completely agree with you,
Then maybe
Chase.
even like a promotion system, like a mid-season or something, because like some of the D2 guys are honestly a lot better than some of the D1 guys, and it's just kind of sad that D2 have probably been overall a better than D1 this year.
Yeah, this is D1 tipping right now, but I agree with the everything, almost everything you say. I mean, I agree with the whole part of. I mean, we just don't take penalties like seriously. Like we had the last penalty we had was the monkey thing a long time ago, and the only penalties you ever see is in the middle of the race, and people are doing stuff mid race and they don't even get punished for that is really stupid. But yeah, thank you, Chase, for that. Now headed over to SGB. Do you have any comments or concerns about what's going on right now in MWRT, and how would you fix it?
I think overall, so far, all of our opinions are just really um are really reasonable. I think I think the number one thing that Walla definitely needs to work on so far is because, and this is just coming from my personal opinion, it's just how like it's just a big blob of how everything is just managed just in the server, just racing in general. Starting off with just, it's been very horrible when it comes to the overall racing product in the last few weeks. And I'm not saying that's 100% on Walla. I'm saying that's definitely on the drivers too. But when you're an official and especially the league owner, when you're seeing that, I feel like in a sense of way, you're supposed to build off of that and just in your mind, like, hey, how can I fix this? And so far, I don't think Walla has really done a lot to fix the racing product, especially like how all the points you guys have been putting up. The last penalty that we've actually had was Monkey all the way back in D2 Phoenix, which was around like July or June. So yeah, he just doesn't enforce that. And I think, especially with some of the officiating calls, it's definitely gotten better. Like, I'm not gonna deny that. Like, it's been a great decision to put people like Chronic and other people in charge and having an entire group officiate, not just Walla himself. I think that's a really big part of it. And, you know, some small stuff too, like the commentary booth has definitely improved in a bigger way. But I just think that overall, especially with just some of the small problems, just like even at some of the race times, dude, I've just seen some crazy race times. I'm just gonna say this: Walla has never been on time for a race in a while. I'm telling you, it's either
Bingo.
30 minutes or an hour late. And I think, you know, people might be asking, "Hey, that's not big of a deal." But when you're thinking about it, remember this isn't just like a 30 like people server. Okay, we're talking about one of the biggest roll racing leagues on Roblox, and you're telling me you
For
can't
sure.
even start on the actual race time? Like, in my opinion, remember D1 Texas? Didn't that start at like, I don't even remember what time was that? Yeah,
9:30.
9:30 at night. Are you serious right now? That is late at night. And to think about that, there have been so many other leagues, like, not to bring them up, but Carvana specifically, they are just way better than us overall, and they don't even like, you know, develop the games or like are even the maker of any of this. It is Walla, and sometimes it's kind of crazy to me that Walla kind of just prefers that over his own league sometimes, and that is what makes me mad because overall it seems like Walla, he does care, but at the same time, it's just so confusing because he is just either like on it or he's just incredibly off, and that's what just makes me mad because like he just can't find that sweet line where he can just focus and like make everything good. I know that nothing can be perfect, but I'm just saying that there's so much stuff that this league can fix on. So yeah. Sorry for the rant, but
I
still.
also I'd like to point out one thing about like the Carvana thing. I even caught like instead of Walla focusing on setups when they need to be, I even caught him officiating some other leagues. Uses MWRT.
Yeah, thank you that for both of y'all. The SUV for sure. I completely agree with everything you're saying. I'm gonna go over mine, piggybacking on a lot of SUVs saying, at the end of the day, this we are people at the end of the day, right? And we're already losers. We're canceling shit in our real lives to race at Roblox, right? Like we're already all losers, okay? That doesn't
Oh
matter.
my!
And in the end of the day, there's people in the race, like Blue, saying, "Yo, I wish I didn't cancel my dinner because we're trying to race, and I wish I wouldn't have missed it." Man, I just don't understand how it's so hard that you're the league owner and you set a time for when you can race. You're like, "Hey, okay, this is what time I want to race, and this is the time I can do it." He sets it up that time, and then it just every race it just ends up not being the time. And these people that are this is not talking about a 4-man league that no one gives a freaking crap about. Like SUB said, this is the one of the biggest road racing leagues in the whole Roblox community, and we can't even get a race started on time. And this, and people can say, "Oh, it's a one owner in this league. What are you supposed to think about it, Tylen? What are you supposed to? What's he supposed to do?" At the end of the day, it's little small things that could easily fix this all. One, it's his server and it's his race. He sets up what time he wants to do, and he asks what time people can race, and then he can find a compromise when he wants to run. Y'all understand the last two races we have ran in D1. D2 is not as late. D1, a combined in the last two races, has had 4 hours of postponements and like four shutdowns. That is unbelievable. And it's just completely unnecessary and it needs to be fixed. Also, don't let me get me started on the racing. The people in the back of these D1 fields should be in the back of the D2 fields because some of these people just don't understand what braking and what even turning the corner is. I just don't understand. D1, D2 is not as bad. I'm not going to go too bad on D2 because they're pretty good and they do good for what they are. But at the end of the day, we're letting the wrong people in D1 and the wrong people in D2. I think some of the people in D2 could be in D1 and run a lot better than these people in D1 that are running in the back. I'm not going to single anyone out, but they know who they are and they just don't care because at the end of the day, uh, it's like I said, the small things. They're like, okay, why can't this league function? We don't even have a rule book to start off. At the end of the day, if you want any server to work, and this is 700 people, I mean over 700 people in this server, and we don't even have a rule book of what you can do on the track. Every race, there's a different narrative of what you can do in a race, and just the penalties, and people just, I mean, like it doesn't make sense. Like when you've been doing this for so long, and I feel like you've been a developer for so long, and you've owned leagues before, and you don't even have a rule book. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and waste everybody's time piggybacking on a lot of people saying it. Just it frustrates me. But Koala calls me out when I need to do better. This is one thing I think he really needs to do better. First of all, tryouts for officiators. No D2 drivers being officiators because at the end of the day, I mean, why? There's always going to be some bias at some point. No disrespect to Dylan, but I also don't think he needs to be an officiator because at the end of the day, he's a D1 driver. I mean, I'm not going to get mad, be up here, but you need real, true officiators that will sit around and officiate. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and head over to the next section. We're gonna get out of the sad and depressed moment. We're gonna go ahead and go over D2 and D1 scheme of the week picks at COTA. Um, is everyone here? I just wanted to make sure that everybody is ready
Yep.
for these
Yeah.
picks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, so starting off with D2 COTA, we had a lot of good schemes here in the Lone Star State, but I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Dylan. Dylan, you go ahead and make your first pick.
Honestly, the one I'm gonna give it to Briar. I don't know, that yellow scheme kind of stand out to me. I'm pretty sure. Wait, SUB, is that based off of what's it called, Sonic
Tails.
character?
Yeah,
It's Tails. It's a Tails
Yeah,
scheme.
it was a
that one
part
kind
of
of stood out to
the
me.
Sonic matching schemes thing.
Yeah, that one kind of stood out to me. I'm not gonna lie, because normally people don't usually run a yellow scheme. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Briar's here.
Thank you. That's a good pick right there, Dylan. We'll go ahead and head over to CD. CD, what is your pick?
Again, I'm going with Dylan. That's what we said before the other episode audio got literally raped. Yeah, Briar. I really love the tail design on the tail scheme. Yeah, Briar, I think it should be able to win this.
For sure. Thank you for that, CD. That's 2 for Briar. One more would give him the majority vote for the scheme of the week. Now over to Chase for life.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna have to give this to a lot of what was it? Repeat schemes. So, you know what? No, calm down. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite. Okay, honestly, I love that little what is that little squad? There was 4 of them. You guys did it, right? Actually, be 4
Yeah,
of you.
4.
Honestly, I'm gonna go with Monkey. Monkey had a great scheme.
Anyway, head over to the next one. First of all, thank you for that big monkey. Congratulations on your one and lone pick. SUB, over to you for
All
your
right.
pick.
So once again, I think I'm gonna go in the direction of Dylan and CD. Once again, the Sonic schemes of all 4 cars were pretty good, except Sebastian. He just didn't show up. I'm gonna catch a stray right here. So fuck you for not showing up. But anyway, me, Briar, and Miles all match Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles cars, and I think that overall, I think the best car. I know that CD and Dylan have been saying Tails for Briar, but I really think that the Knuckles Miles car is honestly my personal favorite. I just really like the red design on it, so yeah.
Also, before we move on, SB, I wanted to talk about your scheme. A little controversy. I don't know if you support this or not, but no, I don't remember what car. It might have been a Metal Sonic, but he was doing an interesting salute on the car. Do you want to?
Okay.
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
Alright,
Anyway,
2006.
SGB, thank you for that pick. So that was Briar, right? You said.
No,
No,
it was
Miles.
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 Oh, Miles. Okay, so at the end of the day, I said this last time. I'm gonna say it again. So, Briar, congratulations on your scheme of the week. I mean your scheme of the week win. Congratulations. I low key liked SGB's car. I forgot what it was, but I just remember in the mid race, I was just thinking, SGB's car just looks so hot. So then I
It's
was
my
like, you know what?
primary, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's just
it's his
on.
primary car. But anyway, SGB with an amazing car. But anyway, I will give it to Briar. Congratulations for D2 Scheme of the Week. Now over to D1. I'm going to go ahead and start it off since we're just going to go in reverse. My D1 Scheme of the Week pick has to go to the race winner. I like that 54 FedEx car, Denny Hamlin FedEx throwback car. I really liked it, and it's just fitting that in the last race it was Zane's win in that scheme. And he just held me off for me to sell in the bump. But anyway, great job, Zane. I'll give you my pick. Now heading over to SGB. Who is your pick?
honestly, I think we had a lot of great cars at COTA and D1, a lot of good looking race cars. Like you said, Zane, he had a really good FedEx car in the 54, but I think my pick leans towards three really good schemes that really stood out to me while watching that race. I really liked the 92 of Grimmy's car. I really liked Vince's car, and this is my pick for scheme of the week. I really love Tylen's iRacing car. It's just a simple red, white, and blue. It just stood out really great to me. So that's just my opinion. I think Tylen gets my vote.
Appreciate it. Thank you. SGB, but great. Thank you for that pick. But also now we'll head over to Chase for Life. Who is your pick for Scheme of the Week, D1?
A lot of great schemes. Honestly, I'm gonna go with
He's
the
about to
one.
say Cardi's. I know he's about to
I'm
say
not saying Cardi's. I'm changing my pick. I like Vince's team.
Anyway,
What was that?
heading to the next pick. That was the worst pick I've heard.
Hey, it's better than me
Now,
picking my own team.
yes, Chase Fry, if you're kind of hitting some stinkers this week, great job. But
Yeah.
now we're going to head over to
Suspend
CD
him.
for his pick in scheme week.
Oh wow, that's
Scheme
the
pick.
first penalty since Phoenix.
Honestly, what?
No, you missed
Just
it.
Technical
continue, just
difficulties.
continue.
Over to you, CD, for your pick.
I really like my scheme, but I'm not gonna glaze myself. So like, I think I'm gonna keep this simple and nice. I really like Zane's FedEx car. I think it definitely deserves a scheme of the week. It just really stood out, and especially him winning that car to Tylen. Tylen turned into Cody Ware and absolutely sold. But yeah, Zane.
Thank you for that pick, CD. Great pick right there. Now, Dylan, the fate is in your hands. Who is your pick for scheme of
Yeah.
the week?
Zane's gonna win since I'm not gonna pick a single card that's been picked so far. The two that stood out to me were CDs. I thought that Patriota car was pretty good, and Grimmy's. But I'm gonna go with Grimmy because I honestly like that car a lot.
All right. Well, congratulations, Zane. You win the your first ever scheme of the week, and you win your first ever race in WRT and your last. So, congratulations, Zane, on the whole win of the weekend. Now, heading on to the future, Richmond next weekend. A lot of story headlines heading into the weekend. Can anyone find consistency? It feels like everyone that runs in D1 has ran up and down. Dylan, me, Chuz, and Cardi especially, just up and down races where if you run up front and then you can just wreck. D2 obviously can Chase for Life keep his streak going of just P1, P2, keep running fast every week and keeping his points lead big. But we will go ahead and start with our first picks, D2 and D1. Dylan, go ahead and pick.
Uh, um, Probably gonna go with Cardi. Because he was definitely the dominant car at Iowa. He won at Iowa in an Iris race recently, and that track is almost. I'd say it's pretty close to Richmond, so I'm gonna go with Cardi as my pick for Richmond.
Over now, thank you for that pick. That's a great pick. Obviously, this place is really close to Iowa. But now over to you, CD.
Well, D1, even though he's my teammate, I feel like Dylan's finally going to get back in that winner circle, and I think he's going to goon all over the track and just beat everybody and win.
Sounds good. That's a good pick as well. Both of them really good at Iowa. Now over to you, Chase for Life. Who is your pick for D1?
Honestly, I think we're gonna have a first time winner at Richmond. Just because
Oh God, I remember this pick. Oh,
I
it's
think
terrible.
Who is it?
Oh
Kevin,
my
right?
God. Oh, Kevin, you said
Yeah,
Grimmy
you
the
said
other
Grimmy
day.
last time.
Or you said Grimmy. Oh my
You know
God.
what?
Anyway,
Holy switch
anyway,
up, bro. Get this guy
The
out the
remake,
booth.
that's
the
not even that
remake of
bad.
it made me think about my dumbass picks.
All
Grimmy's
right,
not
sounds
bad
good.
though, bro.
Now heading over to our next pick. Thank you for that, Chase for Life. You finally had not a shitty pick. But now over
Okay.
to you, SGB. What is your pick for D1?
All right. So honestly, once again, like you guys have said, Richmond is very close to Iowa, and I think overall, I think like it's really close between a few cars. But honestly, I really see the 71 of Chase actually winning Richmond. So yeah, that's my pick.
Sounds good. Good pick up there, SGB. Now to my pick. I obviously didn't get to run Iowa. I felt like in my practice laps, though, I was pretty fast before Dom had to take over the wheel. Dom, I'm not going to disrespect you here, but you're kind of slow. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take my pick. I picked myself the other day because, I mean, I'm not doing that today.
I'm fucking
But I
crazy.
think, honestly, this track is completely close to Iowa. Definitely, it's going to be between Dylan, Cardi. Also think that me and Chuz could switch ourselves in there. It's gonna be a close race between us four, but at the end of the day, I can see Dylan getting in the winner's circle once again.
Yeah,
Just
so
by,
winning.
just by having yeah, I'm trying to jinx this shit so bad. But anyway, Dylan is gonna win at Iowa. Not Iowa, Richmond. That is my pick.
Yeah, it's
Congratulations, Dylan. Now you are definitely not winning since you got picked. Now to D2. Who is going to win at Richmond? Starting off with me since I was the one to go out last this time. D2, obviously, there's some fast guys there. Wild won last time at Iowa. But I don't think this track is completely similar to Iowa. I think there's a little bit of differences. It's not the exact same. It's a little wider if you can see the model on MWRT. But I think that my pick for Richmond, I think that momentum really matters in this league. I think I'm going to pick Chase for Life for the win at Richmond. He's just been too dominant. P2s and P1s all over the board. I think that he is fast enough to get it done, and I think that he will get it done. Chase for Life, you're my pick for D2. Heading over to you, SGB.
All right, so like you said, momentum is a really big part in MWRT, and I completely agree with you on that. But I think looking at the Iowa data that I'm currently looking at, once again, and rewatching the race, I think that I have a really big sleeper pick. I know that most of the time in D2, there are a bunch of common guys running up front, but this guy just really stood out to me both in the race and rewatching it. In my opinion, I think this guy has potential to win Richmond, and I think that Zach is going to win at Richmond.
Bro, I was going to pick him.
Nice pick right there, SGB. That's a very dark horse pick. Now heading over to you, Chase for Life. Who is your pick?
Well, I'm not going to pick myself, obviously, but if I had to pick someone else, I think either DT or Dom can possibly get their first win of the season.
All right, thank you for that, Chase. That's a good. Those are two, not two dark horse picks. They're pretty fast, but that people would not expect them to win over some others. Now, over to you, CD. Who is your picks for D2?
Honestly, Tylen, I see a little bit of deja vu happening. I feel like someone's going to go backward, kill GHC on the white flag. I feel like it's going to be Dom. I feel like it's going to be Dom sweeping away and getting a Mickey win.
Nice. Those are two picks for Dom right there. Now to our final pick and end off our episode. Dylan, who is your D2 pick?
Honestly, I'm probably going to go off what SUV said. I think Zach could be fast at Richmond, so I'm going to go with Zach. But I do think I will be racing. So if I do get in, HT is not winning.
What'd you say?
I told you a little bit of deja vu, guys. Dylan's racing. He's going to go backwards and kill GHC. I told you.
All right. Nice. So I think those are all great picks. But, guys, most importantly, I just want to thank y'all for coming back for another episode. It's been so long, but we are starting it back up. Thank y'all, guys. We're signing off. Me, SGB, Chase for Life, and Dylan. Now, to end off our episode, Dylan, end us with a word.
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie
Oh, yeah.
I just popped a perky.
She don't call me bad, bro. 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 She don't call me